Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. Kind of took me a little while to cotton on to this topic to make this video. I kind of knew this was coming, or frankly, we saw it mostly through the prism of corporate matters because PayPal deals with corporations here in Thailand a little differently than individuals. But PayPal has been a very useful tool, probably I'd say for about the last 20 years here in Thailand. Excuse me, give or take. I know I myself, we here at the firm, we found PayPal very convenient, especially when we've had to deal with things where there was a real timing issue. And time was, dealing with a bank wire, if you had something that needed to be done urgently, it's nice having PayPal to know, okay, funds have been remitted and we can move along. But apparently, we're going to see an end to the use of PayPal here in Thailand. Quoting directly from Coconuts, that's coconuts.co, title is, "Here's Why PayPal Will Be Cut Off in Thailand." Quoting directly, "In 4 months, PayPal will effectively be dead in Thailand for most users." Quoting further, "Under the new terms announced last week," and this was published a little while ago, as I said, it took me a little while to cotton on to this, at least for individuals here in Thailand. It just didn't really register for me. Quoting again, "Under the new terms announced last week, the company said any personal account created before March 2021 will be unable to receive payments or hold a balance after February. The same rules apply for all business accounts not registered via the government's new Know Your Business or KYB program, a scheme intended to increase transparency in finance and combat money laundering." And it seems taxation is another major issue here, as they get to later in this article. I urge folks who are watching this video, go check out this article if this is of interest to you, because a lot going on in here, and this article is very good at sort of elucidating what's going down. Quoting further, "In essence, that means that one must have a KYB registered business account in order to have a PayPal account at all. Personal PayPal accounts in Thailand will be dead as of March." And that does appear to be the case. We're looking, going here through mid-February, we're looking at the end of PayPal on a personal level for folks here in Thailand. So what exactly that means, for those of you, not a lot of foreign nationals, or I would say a fair number of foreign nationals have found it rather difficult to get like a personal PayPal account here in Thailand. But for those who, there's a lot going on. I think this will have tremendous, obviously, negative ramifications on the so-called freelance sector. As noted in the article, Thailand's like the only jurisdiction, I think maybe around the world, that is imposing this level of sort of scrutiny or imposing these kind of rules on PayPal. I actually think, candidly, policymakers should probably rethink this, because I don't think that they're fully grasping the ramifications of shutting off a spigot of foreign capital pouring into the country. I can understand things like anti-money laundering concerns and taxation, and governments are always, taxes are always the priority of a government. Revenue generation, it just is what it is. I mean, when I say this, I've had people comment to me, mostly friends, they'll say, "Wow, it's amazing you're saying that you sort of out loud." And it's like, what is there to whisper about? Governments need taxes. Governments gobble up taxes like Pac-Man gobbles up Pac pellets. They need them to survive. That's just what they do. So yeah, I understand revenue generation, but I think this is one of those situations where, the cure may be, quote unquote, maybe worse than the disease. I just can't imagine, and I don't know, I could be massively underinformed here, but I just can't imagine that money laundering is that pervasive a problem, and I don't think people are understanding, or I should say policymakers are understanding, how much foreign capital is probably coming into Thailand on a regular basis as a result of PayPal, and to sort of really tighten up the vice grip on that in order to gain what'll probably amount to relatively little in terms of tax revenue compared to the substantial benefits that likely existed prior to this coming into effect in terms of the capital inflow, I don't think people are really, or policymakers are really taken that into account. Now, that's my opinion. So setting that aside, what does this mean? On a practical level, yeah, freelancers, foreign or otherwise, and especially foreign or otherwise, you're not going to be able to keep using your PayPal account come March unless something substantively changes. That stated, those who are foreign nationals here in Thailand and are working in things and receiving remuneration, you really need to have a work permit in order to be doing that. So a company isn't that big of an issue anyway. Go ahead and get a company, set up your PayPal through that company, deal with all the compliance issues associated with that, and move on down the road.